Hello students, so today I am going to explain some of the topics of the chapter unit and measurement. So before starting that, first of all you see this unit and measurement chapter is very important for your NEET exam as well as your JEE Mains, because this chapter is very easy chapter. You can say it is very small chapters. The topics under the units, general portions, then the dimensions, then the error analysis part. So from these three parts you may expect minimum of 2 questions. So it contains very simple formulas and some basic concepts. Okay, so if you remember the formulas and the concepts, then you can easily answer at least 2 questions from here, so that you can score at least 8 marks. So the most important thing about NEET and JEE Mains is that the easy chapters you should not leave. You should very carefully prepare the easy chapters, so that the questions which will be asked from the chapters, you must attempt that questions and score. Okay, anyway, so as this is the first part of the chapter, so just let me discuss some brief idea about the chapters. Okay, so first let me discuss about physical quantity. Physical quantity. Now physical quantity means what? The quantities which can be measured directly or indirectly. This quantity are called what? Physical quantities. Say for example mass, length, time, temperatures, electric current. Okay, so these quantities you can measure directly or indirectly. That's why they are called what? Physical quantities. Now indirectly means what? There are some quantities which you cannot measure directly. Say for example, if you want to measure the distance between Earth and the Sun, or distance between any two heavenly bodies, or you can say if you want to find the radius of a atom, or the radius of the nucleus. So in that case, it is not possible to put a scale there to measure it. So in such cases, we use some indirect measurements. We have like parallax method, we have some Avogadro's method. Okay, we will see later on. So anyhow, if we measure, it can be measured directly or indirectly. These quantities are called what? Physical quantities. Now physical quantities can be classified into 2 groups. There are 2 types of physical quantity. First one, fundamental. Fundamental or base quantities. And second one is derived quantities. Derived quantities. Okay. Now what are fundamental quantities? The fundamental quantities means what? The quantities which can be measured independently. That means without the help of any other quantities. They can be measured directly. They can be measured independently. So these quantities are called what? Fundamental physical quantities. For example, you say mass. So you can measure mass independently. Okay. Then time. That also you can measure independently. Then length. So mass, length, time you can measure independently. So these quantities are called what? Fundamental quantities or base quantities. Second one is derived quantities. Derived quantities. So derived quantities means what? The quantities which can be derived means what? This cannot be measured independently. So this can be derived in terms of what? In terms of the fundamental quantities, or you can say the quantities which can be expressed as a product of the fundamental quantities, or they can be obtained by multiplying or dividing the fundamental quantities. So these are called what? Derived quantities. That means these quantities cannot be measured independently. Okay, by multiplying or dividing the fundamental quantities, we get the derived quantities. Okay, so you can take one example, say speed. So speed is given by, distance by time. So that means you cannot measure speed independently. In order to measure speed, you have to measure distance, then you have to measure time, then by dividing distance and time you will get speed. So speed cannot be measured independently. So it is derived by dividing these two fundamental quantities. That's why it is called what? Derived quantities. Okay? So I think it is clear about the fundamental and the derived quantities. Now let me discuss about unit. Unit. Now first of all, what is unit? Unit means what? It is simply reference standard used for the measurement. So whenever you measure any quantity, it may be length, it may be mass, it may be time, or any other quantities, always we put some unit. So the unit helps us to understand which quantity it represents. So a reference standard is chosen for the measurement of a physical quantity. That reference standard is called what? Unit. So as we have two types of physical quantities, so we have two types of units. So first one, so types of unit. The first one is what? Fundamental unit. Fundamental unit. And second one is derived unit. Derived unit. Now as we know the fundamental quantity, so obviously fundamental unit will be what? The units used for fundamental quantities, or the units of fundamental physical quantities are called what? Fundamental units. So it is the unit of mass, that is kilogram, kg, unit of length, that is meter, and unit of time, that is second. So they are the what? Units for fundamental quantities, so they are called fundamental units. So then derived units. So like I have already explained derived physical quantity. So the units for derived quantities are called derived units. So same example you can consider, say unit of speed is given by what? Speed, distance by time. So unit of distance by unit of time. So unit of distance is the meter, unit of time is second, so meter per second. So this is what? Derived units. So simply you can say that the units which can be obtained by multiplying or dividing the fundamental units are called what? Derived units. So we have two types of units. One is fundamental unit, one is derived units. Okay, so these are simple things. Just briefly I am explaining about the topics of the chapters. Okay, the main part of the chapter are the dimensional analysis and the error analysis. Okay, I will in my next class I will explain the dimension analysis, and thereafter I will explain your error analysis. So now just let me discuss about some brief idea about the unit and its applications. Okay, now let me discuss about system of units. System of units. Now we have MK system. MK system. So MK is simply M for meter, K for kilogram, S for second. Means here the unit of length is meter, unit of mass is kg, unit of time is second. Then we have CGS system. So here the unit of mass is, unit of length is centimeter, unit of mass is kg, unit of time is second. Then we have FPS system. So here unit of length is foot, unit of mass is pound, and unit of time is second. And the last one we have SI system. SI system. So SI system is what? This is the at present, this is the international accepted unit. Okay, the internationally accepted system of unit is called what? SI system. So here you have to remember that this SI system, it consists of seven base SI unit, and two supplementary SI unit. Supplementary SI unit. Okay, so it contains what? 7 base SI unit and 2 supplementary SI unit. So here you see, just you remember these things. Okay, it is not so much of conceptual. The direct concept we can say. Okay, it is not contains complex concept. Okay, so just remember these things. You can, if questions come directly, you can answer from here. Okay, now let me discuss about the 7 base SI unit. What are the 7 base SI unit? The 7 base SI unit. Okay, so just remember it. First is unit of mass, that you know already, kilogram, that is kg. Unit of length, that is meter. Unit of time, that is second. Unit of electric current, that is ampere. Unit of luminous intensity, that is candela. Unit of quantity of substance, that is mole. And then unit of thermodynamic temperature, that is Kelvin. Okay, so these are the 7 base SI unit. Just to remember it. Okay, unit of mass kg, unit of length meter, unit of time second, unit of electric current ampere, unit of luminous intensity candela, unit of quantity of substance mole, and unit of thermodynamic temperature, that is Kelvin. Now along with this we have 2 supplementary SI unit. I will explain why they are called supplementary. So first one is unit of plane angle. That is, you know, radian. And second one, unit of solid angle. That is steradian. Okay, these are called supplementary SI unit. Unit of plane angle, that is radian, and unit of solid angle, that is what? Steradian. Okay, now let me discuss about plane angle and solid angle. Okay, so what is plane angle? So you see, what is the basic difference between plane angle and solid angle? First of all, you see, plane angle is defined in 2-dimensional case, and solid angle is defined in terms of what? 3-dimensional case. For example, you just consider a circle. You know the basic difference, circle and sphere. Circle is 2 dimension and sphere is what? 3 dimension. So you just consider a circle, and here suppose this is the arc of the circle. Suppose this is the arc, the length of the arc suppose L, radius of the circle suppose R, this center, then this is the angle called plane angle. So what is plane angle actually? It is the angle made by an arc of a circle at the center. So that angle is called what? Plane angle. Now how can you define mathematically? Mathematically it is defined as the ratio of arc length by radius. So just to remember it, okay? For numerical point of view, just remember this formula, that plane angle is equal to what? Arc length divided by radius. And what is the concept of plane angle? It is the angle made by an arc of the circle at the center. That angle is called what? Plane angle. Okay, so this you can write simply arc length say L by radius R. So theta is what? L by R. Then solid angle. Solid angle. Now solid angle means what? Here just consider sphere, the three-dimensional case. Now you consider sphere. Now if we consider a sphere, so in that case, then if we consider a part of the sphere, okay, then it will just suppose you just imagine a globe. The globe is the example of sphere. So then a part of the globe that makes angle at the center, that angle is called a solid angle. Now a part of the globe means what? That is, it covers the surface area. So here suppose, here you see, this suppose the center of the sphere, and here if we consider a part of the sphere, say example you just take the globe, then the globe covers certain surface area, okay, and it suppose makes angle, this much angle at the center. So this angle is called what? Solid angle. This angle is called what? Solid angle. So a part of the globe sphere makes angle at the center, that angle is called what? Solid angle. And suppose the surface area is A. The surface area is A, and the radius, the distance is suppose R. So how can I define solid angle? It can be defined as what? The symbol is omega, is surface area by square of distance. Square of distance. So this will be given by A by R square. So this is the mathematical formula of solid angle. So you see, this we define in circle and this we define in sphere. For circle is 2 dimension, so this arc length we consider, and sphere is 3 dimension, so a surface area we consider. Okay, so surface area by square of distance is the solid angle, and arc length by radius is the what? Plane angle. Okay, so here first of all you just remember the formula of plane angle and solid angle, and second thing, so you know the SI unit of plane angle is what? Radian, but the common unit is angle is what? That is the degree. We commonly express angle in degree, and smaller units are what? Minute and second. So in numericals, if questions come, suppose it is given that angle is in degree form or minute or second form, but when you do numericals, you should convert in the SI unit. That means you should convert degree, minute or second in radian. So that conversion you should remember. Okay. So what is the relation between degree and radian, relation between minute and radian, relation between second and radian, that you should remember, okay, so that you can directly use in the numericals and it saves your time. Okay, so let me show you the conversion between degree and radian, or it is relation between degree and radian. So degree is the common unit of angle, and radian is the what? SI unit of angle. So we know 180 degree is equal to pi radian. Okay, pi radian. Pi means what? It is 22 by 7. So obviously 1 degree will be what? 1 degree will be pi by 180 radian. So 1 degree is equal to, you put the value 22 by 7 by 180. So if we calculate this, it comes to be 1.744 10 to the power minus 2 radian. So 1 degree is equal to 1.744 10 to the power minus 2 radian. So just remember it, okay? In numericals, you can directly use. If degree is given, say 30 degree, you want to convert to radian, directly multiply with this. Okay, it's converted to radian. Then we have relation between minute and radian. Minute and radian. Okay, so here you see, we know 1 degree means 60 minute. Okay, this is symbol of minute. 1 minute is 1 degree equals 60 minute. So 1 minute will be 1 by 60 degree. So as we know, 1 degree means this much of radian. So this much of degree means 1 by 60 into 1.744 10 to the power minus 2 radian. So if you calculate it, it comes to be 2.91 10 to the power minus 4 radian. So here also you just remember it. 1 minute equal to how much radian? 1 minute equal to 2.91 10 to the power minus 4 radian. Similarly, let me convert into relation between second and radian. Second and radian. So again we know 1 minute equal to 60 seconds. Second means double dash. So obviously 1 second, it will be 1 by 60 minute. So as we know 1 minute is this much of radian, so you can directly multiply it into 2.91 10 to the power minus 4 radian. So 1 second it will be, if we calculate it, it comes to be 4.85 10 to the power minus 6 radian. Okay, so these three formulas, just you remember it in order to convert the degree to radian, minute to radian, second to radian. So 1 degree equal to 1.744 10 to the power minus 2 radian, 1 minute equal to 2.91 10 to the power minus 4 radian, and 1 second equal to how much? 4.85 10 to the power minus 6 radian. So there are conversions between these common units and the SI unit. Okay, so just remember it. Okay, now let me discuss about some units used to measure long distances and very small distances. So units for long measurement or long distances. So first we have astronomical unit. Astronomical unit. Okay, so what is astronomical unit? It is the average distance between the center of Earth and the Sun. Okay, that average distance is called what? Astronomical unit. It is simply average distance between Earth and Sun. Earth and Sun. So that is called what? Astronomical unit. So here just you have to remember that value. 1 astronomical unit is equal to 1.496 10 to the power 11 meter. Okay. So approximately you can take at 1.5 10 to the power 11 meter. So this is astronomical unit. And second we have light year. Light year. Okay, so don't confuse here. Year is given, so it is not time. Okay, it is a measurement of Earth. It is a unit of distance, not time. So light year means what? It is a distance travelled by light in 1 year in vacuum. Okay. So the distance travelled by light in vacuum in 1 year. That is called what? Light year. Now how can you find this distance? So you see, we know the speed of light is what? The speed of light is 3 10 to the power 8 meter per second. So in 1 second, light travels how much distance? 3 10 to the power 8 meter per second. So in 1 year, it covers 3 10 to the power 8 into, first converting minutes. Okay, so into 60, then into hour, into 60, then into days, 24, then into year, that is 365. So if we calculate it, it comes to be 9.46 10 to the power 15 meter. So 1 light year equal to what? 9.46 10 to the power 15 meter. So here also just remember it. Okay, 1 cubic unit 1.5 10 to the 11 meter, and 1 light year 9.46 10 to the power 15 meter. Another unit for long distances is what? Parsec. parsec. So parsec is also called parallactic second. Okay, is also called parallactic second. So this is also used to measure long distances. Now let me show you actually what is parsec. What is parsec? What is the basic concept of parsec? Parsec means what? So this is suppose an arc, and the length of this arc is 1 astronomical unit, say. And this distance, this suppose the angle is 1 second, and this distance is called what? 1 parsec. So 1 parsec means what? It is the distance. It is the distance at which an arc of length 1 astronomical unit makes an angle 1 second at the center. Okay. So what is parsec? It is the distance at which an arc of length 1 astronomical unit makes an angle 1 second at the center. Thus this distance is called what? 1 parsec. Okay. Now let me find its value. So to find this value, we just use the formula plane angle. Okay. So this is the arc. This length is given, and this distance is just take radius, and this is the angle theta. So here arc of length is given 1 astronomical unit. So 1.496 10 to the power 11 meter, and the radius is 1 parsec. You have to find its value, and the plane angle theta is 1 second. So here you have to take in radian. So already I have given you the value 4.85 10 to the power minus 6 radian. So now use the formula theta is equal to arc length by radius. So radius will be arc length by theta. Okay, so here your R is 1 parsec. So L is 1.496 10 to the power 11. Theta is what? 4.85 10 to the power minus 6. If we calculate it, it comes to be around 3.08 10 to the power 16 meter. Okay, so let's remember this. So I have given you 3 units for the long distances. One is astronomical unit, one is light year, and one is parsec. Okay, so just you remember their values in meter. Okay. So now we can find interrelation between parsec, light year, as well as astronomical unit. So first, let me show you relation between astronomical unit and light year. Okay, so how can you find the relation? Here you see light year is bigger than astronomical unit. So what we do is just divide light year by astronomical unit. So 1 light year by 1 astronomical unit. So 1 light year means what? It is 9.46 10 to the power 16 meter, and 1 AU means 1.496 10 to the power 11 meter. So if we divide it, it comes to be 6.3 10 to the power 4. Okay, so you can see that 1 light year is equal to 6.3 10 to the power 4 astronomical units. So this also you can remember the relation between light year and astronomical unit. So 1 light year is equal to how much? 6.3 10 to the power 4 astronomical unit. Similar way, you can find relation between light year and parsec. So here also same process. It is 1 parsec divided by light year. It gives you, so 1 parsec means what? 3.08 10 to the power 16 meter, and 1 light year means 9.46 10 to the power 15 meter. If we divide, it comes to be simply 3.28. So 1 parsec equal to 3.28 light year. So this is a relation between parsec and light year. So 1 parsec equal to how much? 3.28 light year. Okay, so here also just you remember this value. Okay, so this is a relation between parsec and light year and astronomical unit. Okay. So here only just remember these things. Okay, they're not so much complicated. Very simple. Just remember the things. If questions come, you can directly answer it. Okay. Similarly, we have some units for small measurement also. Okay. So units for small measurement. Small measurement. So here we have millimeter. And you know 1 millimeter means what? 10 to the power minus 3 meter. We have micrometer. We also call micron. 10 to the power minus 6 meter. We have nanometer. That is 10 to the power minus 9 meter. We have picometer. 10 to the power minus 12 meter. We have Armstrong, and 1 Armstrong 10 to the power minus 10 meter. We have Fermi, 1 Fermi 10 to the power minus 15 meter. So large units we have small unit also. So these are used to measure our small distances. So the thing is that you should just remember these things. So in order to convert in SI unit, you have to use this. Okay, this is in fact very simple thing. Just as this is the first chapter, just let me rewind all these basic things which will be used later on. Okay, so these are the units for small measurement. Okay, now as I have told you at the beginning of the chapter, we have some direct measurement, some indirect measurement. So for example, if we want to measure distance of Earth and the Sun, then in that case we use some indirect methods. So one of the method is called what? Parallax method. Indirect measurement of light. Indirect measurement of light. So one of the method is called parallax method. Okay, now what do you mean by parallax? So you just imagine a stationary object on a screen, suppose. Just imagine this is the object, stationary object fixed on the screen. First you focus with your left eye. Okay, then you focus with the right eye. Then what you will see? Okay, if you focus the left eye, then if you see the right eye, then what you will see? You will see there is a change in the position. They will change in the position. Okay, but actually the position of the object will not change. But due to shift of the eye position, there is an apparent change in the position of the object. Or you can say the relative change in the position of the object with respect to your shift of your eye position. That is called what? Parallax. So what is parallax? Basically the relative change in the position of a stationary object with respect to the background with the shift of eye position. Okay, that is called what? Parallax. That is, I repeat, the relative change in the position of a stationary object with respect to the background with the shift of eye position is called what? Parallax. Now here, this is suppose the stationary object. Now here, this suppose the left eye and this suppose right eye. So here, if you focus with the left eye, so this distance suppose take D, with right eye, that is suppose D, the stationary object, and this distance, the distance between the two observation point, left eye and right eye, this is called basis. This is called what? Basis. And this is the angle theta. So by using this parallax method we can calculate the distance d. So here you can apply the formula of plane angle. So theta is very small. If theta is very small, in that case theta you can write arc length by radius, it is b by d, or d is equal to b by theta. So just knowing the value of b, the distance between two observation point, and the value theta, you can calculate the distance. Okay. Now, how can you use this method to find the long distances? So in the long distances, we use what? Telescope. Okay, we fix telescope on the earth. Okay, then the distance between the observation point we take b, that you can easily calculate. You can consider diameter of the earth also, and the theta you can measure the help of the telescope, and the distance d you can easily find out by using this formula b by theta. So this formula gives you the distance between two heavenly bodies or two distant objects. Okay, so now let me solve one numericals connecting this formula, so that it will be easy for you that how can you use the formula in order to solve numericals. Okay, so let me give you one question, one example. That is the sun's angular diameter is measured to be 1920 seconds. The distance d of the sun from the earth is 1.496 10 to the power 11 meter. What is the diameter of the sun? So here you see theta. So the sun's angular diameter is measured to be this sun's angular diameter. Okay, and the distance of the sun from the earth is given. What is the diameter of the sun? So this is suppose sun, and this is suppose earth. Okay, this is our earth, and this is suppose sun. So this diameter of the sun, and this is the earth. Angular diameter is given. Okay, that means how much angle it makes with the earth. So this is theta, this distance d, this is the b. So here what is given? Theta is given here. Theta is given 1920 seconds, but you have to convert in radian. So what we do? So you just multiply. I have already given you 1 second means how much radian? 4.85 10 to the power minus 6 radian. So if you calculate it, it comes to be 9.31 10 to the power minus 3 radian. Okay, you just calculate it, and d is given here. D is 1.496 10 to the power 11 meter. So now use this formula I have already given you. That is d is equal to what? Theta by b. D is equal to b by theta. So here b have to calculate. So b is equal to theta into d. So it is theta is 9.31 10 to the power minus 3, and d is here 1.496 10 to the power 11. So if we calculate it, it comes to be 1.39 10 to the power 9 meter. So this way we can use the formula to solve these types of questions. Okay, so this is the first part of this chapter. So in the next part I will explain about dimensional analysis. Okay, I again repeat, dimensional analysis and the error analysis. These are the two important part for your entrance examinations, NEET and JEE Mains. Okay, so these are the basic parts, but from this part also questions may come. Okay, but generally questions come from dimension and error questions. Okay, thank you.